Welcome back to the Jealous Podcast. I am Shelby still here because Mackenzie's still on maternity leave. Sad tear from my cheek from that, but I am here with Erin today. Hi, Erin.
Hi.
We haven't done an episode together, and you brought on a good one today.
I agree.
Did you enjoy your time on the Shelby Shit Show?
I did. Happy to be here.
I'm glad you're here. Erin and I have just been getting into some ruckus around town lately. We're just the two single ladies in the office doing the most, and everyone's loving it. What's the favorite thing we've done together from your perspective?
Ooh, we went to the Ozarks.
Oh, yeah, that was a good time.
That was pretty fun.
That was good. We survived.
We did. Half the office wasn't sure, but
We got back on Monday. They're like, you made it. We're like, yeah.
And we need coffee.
Yeah.
Stat.
Gosh, that's funny. I'm going to kind of lead in and talk about who I'm jealous of because, quite frankly, it's you. And I'm jealous of you because you just told me before we started this podcast that you're going to Sports Page tonight. And for those of you that don't know, Sports Page is my second home. Like, I'll get in my car, and you know how your Apple Play connects, and it has your recommended location of where you want to go. Mine will pop up Sports Page on a Friday night.
It thinks you live. It's your home address.
It's so bad. But we've been going there since I was in high school. Like, I would do my homework there. After practice, that's where we went. So I wanted to give you my top recommendations of food items.
I love this. Okay.
Because I do find myself going through a rotation of food that I like to eat there.
Okay. Number one.
Starting off with the appetizers.
I'm going to end up with like a 4-course meal at Sports
You're going to have
Page.
to.
I have to get
why do you think I go there 5 days a week, man?
I need a sampler pack. Okay.
I love the buffalo wings and the bone-in wings. Bone-in or boneless, both are amazing options.
Okay. Different sauce options?
Yeah, I like buffalo. I do sweet chili. If I like to do half and half, both are great. Are you a wing gal?
Absolutely.
Sweet. Nacho side of things. Dirty are my favorite. It's just with meat and cheese and queso, and they bake it. Beautiful.
Perfection.
Yep.
Okay.
And then I also like the cheese curds. We call them minions. They're really good.
Okay.
They used to have pepper jack, but now I don't.
Are they the ones where they bread them there? Or are they ones that you're like, oh, these definitely were like the freezer, you get them at the same ones?
Such a good question.
Okay. But the ranch.
Yeah, Sports Page's ranch is
That's what I really needed to know.
top tier. They make it there, and it is really good.
Okay.
Okay, as for sandwiches and whatnot, I do love the turkey parmesan sandwich. It's pressed in like Texas toast with garlic on it. There's turkey.
I don't know what time it is, but now I'm starving.
So that's one of my entrees. Okay. You also, I can't forget about the chicken strips. Chicken strips are iconic.
Stripping with shells.
We are stripping with shells. I tell people about that, and they're like, you want your podcast title to be what?
Absolutely.
It's great. Chicken strip as my pull. I'll be 10 minutes of some honey mustard.
Hold the chicken strip down as the mic.
Yeah. Oh, that's funny, too. We love a good brand.
We do.
What do you like to dip your chicken strips in?
Barbecue or ranch?
Really? Mm-hmm. Barbecue. That is so interesting.
That seems normal to me. I don't know. What do you dip?
Because then it's like a wing, I guess.
It is a wing.
Like a bonus. Okay, we're not going to get into this. We're not getting into this discussion. As I just said, we're really cool. Now we're not.
We're actually not friends. We're actually colleagues.
Okay, I love honey mustard. I do love just dipping in that. I dip my Parmesan turkey melt in there too. It's a game changer. No, honey mustard. It's a game changer. Okay, what else do I like? They have good salad, steak salad, tortilla soup. Great. If you get mashed potatoes, ask for bacon. Sorry, I'm getting really passionate. Ask for bacon and cheese on that shit, because then they'll bring it out in a big bowl and you'll get more.
Okay.
So what do you think you're going to get?
The wings.
Okay, good. What kind of wing sauce do you like? Do you like barbecue then?
No.
What? Okay. So you
this
like...
makes no sense, but buffalo.
Oh, yeah, I like buffalo too. I mean, I can't disagree, but it just doesn't make sense that you would eat your chicken strips.
My chicken strips could be dipped in buffalo. Like, I'm not against that at all.
Oh my God, I forgot about the quesadilla. The quesadilla is the best quesadilla I've ever had. I'm giving Sports Page and Ankeny like a major
Sports Page is on her as our guest today.
Yeah. Jake, I need you to come on here next week, okay? So enough about me and my obsession with Sports Page. Who are you jealous of this week?
I am jealous of our podcast guest, Drew.
Dr. Drew.
Dr. Drew. He brings together the holistic side with his chiropractic office. And I think the holistic health is just something that I've always wanted to like dive deeper in, just don't know where to start. The internet's just overwhelming.
Yeah.
100%. And his passion and his outlook on life, his story, what he's been through. I thought it was.
Yeah, he has a really cool story, and he looks at health and even chiropractic health as a whole. Like, it's not just one thing that's going to be the solution to your problem. Oh, hi, coffee. It's part of the puzzle, right? It's part of what's going to make you feel better so you can thrive in life and not just survive. So how did you guys meet? You guys know each other, right?
We went to high school together.
Okay.
As well as he lived next door to my grandpa.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So,
Keokuk, Iowa.
Good old Southeast Iowa.
Where the best water in Iowa
#1
lives.
Shout out.
No wonder he brought up water in the episode.
He's
did? Probably talking about
I should have brought that up.
Keokuk's water.
For a while, we had some in the office.
Yeah,
I had to bring it back.
I love me some water, and I had to test it out for myself.
And what did you think?
It was good.
#1?
It was good. I could tell a difference between
up here and
yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because I'm more of a filtered like my Essentia water. I'm a water weirdo.
Yeah,
I'm a water. What's the word when? What?
Aficionado?
No. Fudge. I can't remember the word, so we're just gonna.
Words are tough, though.
Words are hard, especially when I haven't finished this cup of coffee. I was like downing it during the episode. Okay, well, Dr. Drew is here to talk about his journey with holistic health, how it helped him recover from cancer, leukemia to be exact, and now what he's doing to change other people's lives in the Des Moines area. So check him out. He plugs all this stuff at the end. And in the meantime, be sure to subscribe and leave us a review on iTunes for the Jealous Podcast, because this is how we get more people like Dr. Drew onto our show to spread more amazing stories.
Agreed.
Anything else you want to add?
I think you covered it.
Check out Erin on Reels too at It's Being
No.
Big. She is our dancer. We all have a role, and she's the dancer in the Reels.
I didn't sign up for this.
I assigned it to her. Thanks, Erin.
Thank you. Bye.
And it's about storytelling and how it doesn't matter what type of story it is. It could be something life-changing like you went through, or a conversation you had with a friend that inspired something. But people love stories, and they love hearing them because they love to be able to relate to people and connect to people. And it makes us all relatable and real,
Totally.
you know?
And I went to Iowa for undergrad.
Okay.
And it was like my junior year, and it was funny. So I was a pre everything, med, chiro, PT, or all like one big major.
Yeah.
So like science heavy junior year, but then I also was an entrepreneurship minor.
Okay.
And so I like had this like big change where I would be like really into the sciences and then like go to like a business class. I was like, oh, this is way different.
Like you're in the research, and then you're like, oh, here's ROI.
Yeah. And then I remember though, they had a guy come in, and he like literally taught classes at Iowa on like the art of storytelling.
Oh, really? Yeah.
And he like would
that's
come in,
cool.
and it was such a cool experience. He's just like, again, his like thing was like, there's nothing special about me per se, like my story. It's just that like how you share what you've been through can move mountains for people too. And I'm like, oh, this is, and like that was before I got sick or whatever else it was, but it was just like, I look back on that guy, it's like, he was so right.
Yeah.
And the reach
Like-
it has, you don't even realize it.
Right. Yeah. And just being able to like, to tell a story eloquently is such a powerful thing versus just like, because I realize if I start talking like the super nitty gritty details and like what I went through, it can get cumbersome.
Totally.
Right. And it's like
overwhelming.
But if you can just tell people, like I always say, I don't care if you remember me, my name, you know, stuff. Just remember that like our body can heal is like really, really powerful.
Yeah.
Right. And like, and I don't mean to like.
No,
jump
I
back
love
in,
this.
but-
I do
think,
too.
I think we should just jump on into it then. Do you want to share your story and what you've gone through and what you've learned from, let's start with the story first before I get ahead of myself.
Yeah. So I'm from a small town in Southeast Iowa. Graduated, I went to Iowa, and through high school, I had 3 knee surgeries. So I spent a lot of high school on crutches.
I've had one of those.
Yeah.
Those ACLs,
Those
man,
knees.
they will get you.
And I remember like this picture of me like for homecoming or whatever, and it's like take a picture of the crutches and then like get back on them or whatever. But no, I went there and I wanted to be an orthopedic surgeon. I had a great orthopedic surgeon through high school. He helped me a lot, and I just thought that made sense to me, and I always liked sciences. So I was a science nerd through college, but I actually kind of got this like itch to be an entrepreneur, and I got this internship at the senior year of in Iowa, and I didn't really know. Like I assumed I was gonna go more to school. Like when you're a health major, it's kind of like you just keep going to school forever.
Yeah, until you have enough debt to cover.
And I did this internship. And it was a lot of fun, and we went to Las Vegas for a summer, and it was the guy who started.
That is fun.
Yeah, and it was the guy who started Zappos, and he was trying to. It was called Reimagining Downtown, and they're moving the headquarters there. Anyway, they're trying to reinvigorate like actual downtown Vegas, not the Strip. So I got to spend a few months out there, and it was fun, and it kind of gave me that. Like I said, I wanted to scratch that itch of like what an entrepreneurship like startup would be. So I was like, I was 22. And I think something you like to learn about me is I'm not a very patient person as far as goals. Like I set 5-year goals, but then I'm frustrated if I don't get them in 5 months. And I do that consistently over and over again.
Most entrepreneurs are like that.
Yeah. Like, let's finish this one so we go on to the next.
Yeah. And I was like, man, I just need to make this happen. So I was 22, and I started this company, and like it was still in the health and wellness world. So it's kind of that merger for me of like entrepreneurship / like helping people live healthier lives.
Totally.
And do you guys know the show Shark Tank?
Yes.
So they had something similar to that, but it was a pitching contest for funding for your startup. And I flew to Texas for it.
Oh, wow.
And like I never like, I mean, I wore a suit for prom, but I never like really like went out and bought a suit and all that stuff. And like it was literally like you had a minute to pitch your
idea.
With the opportunity to get funded. And I remember like
at 22.
I was
That's insane.
and I had so many people ask me like, how old are you again? And so I go there and I have this suit on and I'm trying to act like, I got everything figured out when I was just like, getting started or whatever. But I remember like, just thinking back, like I was really run down. And I was starting to have some symptoms of what was going on, but I didn't know. And so like when you're 22, 23, and I had just turned 22 actually. Typically it's like, I'm just going to work out harder. Yeah. I'm going to eat a little bit cleaner and just hopefully like whatever I'm experiencing was going on. So I had the sweats during this pitching contest and I thought I was just anxious and nervous because like there's these guys staring at me and it's like the opportunity to get funding and just like, oh my gosh, this is different. And it was exhilarating, but also it was a minute and you're like, you go and you sit back down and it's like, what just happened?
Yeah. Totally. You lose all of it.
Oh,
You're like,
totally.
what did I just say?
Yeah. Like,
Was any of it good?
We talk about being on video. Like, I would not want to go back and see what I said that time. But I just, like, I remember, and so I would have these sweats, and then it turned into, like, night sweats, one of my first symptoms, where I would, like, wake up, and, like, my entire bed would be, like, sorry,
it's
like,
all good.
soaked in sweat.
Okay, yeah.
Like, every single night. And again, like, I don't know, maybe naivety or whatever you want to say, but I was, like, 22. I was like, all right, I'm just going to, like, work out that much harder and, like, bust my butt that much harder in the gym. It kept getting worse.
Yeah.
And so the workouts kept getting harder, not better.
Yeah.
To the point where like I went to do like push-ups or even like whatever, like something simple to get started. And I was like, oh my gosh, like my heart rate is already so high.
Body's weak.
And
your body was weak. And
yeah,
you just kept
exactly.
pushing
And
it.
I just like I didn't want to compromise, so to speak.
Totally.
But we were heading back to Iowa actually, and we were in the car, and my vision started to get blurry.
Oh wow.
And like, so I wear glasses, I wear contacts, so it wasn't that. But it was just another symptom coming forward. And I remember like I like plopped down on the couch, and all of this was coming up as my now wife and I, we were engaged. And it was my now mother-in-law that like looked at me, and she's like the sweetest person. But she's like, hey Drew, I think we need to go get something checked out. You don't look like, she's like, basically like, you don't look so great, right?
You're not looking so hot, honey.
The nicest way possible.
We went like urgent care, emergency room to like another wing of the hospital. All this while my vision was really blurry. So it was kind of this weird, like different world almost, I felt like. And I remember guy walked in, like just classic, like TV show, movie, whatever you want to say, big white lab coat. And across his chest it says oncology.
Okay. Yeah.
but I couldn't see it. So like you could hear a pin drop in the room, and it was my fiance and my mother-in-law sitting there with me. And he walks in and starts talking about cancer, my white blood cell count, and leukemia.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I remember like this is like literally sinking into the hospital bed. Like, okay, it was a really big wake up call.
Yeah.
Like being this kid that focused a lot on science and thought that I had all that figured out.
And health because you were working out.
Yeah. And I was kind of a nerd. Like I went to Iowa, but I was kind of a nerd in undergrad. Like I didn't really go out that much. I'd go to the gym on Saturday night because there's no one there. Like, oh, this is great. But there's a reason why no one was there too, right? No, but no, I focused a lot on that through undergrad. And we can get more into like the why and the how and everything too. But it was that moment where I was just like, and I'm very thankful for that they were able to diagnose it, you know, and I had some really good people in my corner as far as developing a plan.
Yeah.
And that I did a lot too as far as like actually getting healthy. But
Yeah. What the diagnosis did, like, was it a relief for you, or was it more because now you know, okay, here's something, I know what's wrong with me. I can't fight through the sweats anymore.
Absolutely. It kind of gave me that assurance that like it was a target, right? Or it was a focus that like, okay, I wasn't crazy, or whatever else it was, and not, you know, the symptoms that I was feeling were warranted, so to speak.
They like validated them.
Yeah, and they, you know, I was so young too, so they were kind of figuring out like, is he like obviously he's not a pediatric patient anymore, but like he's a young adult with leukemia, like typically a lot of that stuff. So they were just trying to figure out like what was going on there. Like I said, I had great physicians through that whole time, and someone in our family, who's then the chiropractor, he's like, hey, let's make sure that like we can make sure your body's healing along with the treatment that you're doing, right? And so like my goal was like I didn't want to just survive, but I wanted like to thrive.
Totally.
And that probably sounds cheesy, but like at 22, I just turned 23. I was like, and there were some scary timelines as far as like that diagnosis and what it looked like.
I even think diagnosis in itself, that word is scary. It's something you think you have to live with for the rest of your life. But really, it's your body's symptoms that you have right now. And like you're going to talk about, you have the ability and the power to take that back and heal it. Totally. And it's not like healing it, I'll never have it again, but it's more of and you can talk more on this too. This is just my perspective. But I'm in control of it, and I know what to do to not act it up again. Yeah.
No, you're like, that was actually really, really good because, and I always say this and like in practice now for me is like our mindset is the first step. Totally. And if we put a ceiling on our health as far as like what we can achieve, what our goals are, or just that we like, so many people are downtrodden and they get a diagnosis and it's like, you're going to have this for the rest of your life, or, you know, whatever else it is too. And it's like, a big goal of mine is to tell people like, hey, here's what you can do to help your body like start to heal, start to do the correct things, you know. So yeah, I think that like, having that mentality around it is so powerful to know that like, okay, I can focus on this. Yes, the diagnosis is a scary word. You know, you hear the word leukemia and you're just like,
life's over. Yeah.
But then at the same time, it allowed me the opportunity to have a focused fight and to have something to like work towards. And I think what was really powerful, like with me, was, like I said, we were engaged at the time, and so my wife, and she's way out of my league. But I just think back to like how strong she was through that. And as I talk about her, this is about the only time in my life when I really get emotional. But I remember, so I got diagnosed on a Monday night, and it was like actually near her hometown. She's from Northwest Iowa. And I looked at her, and so that we're like, it's June, and our wedding is in February. So we still had a few months or whatever. We were trying to figure it out schedule-wise. But I said, hey, like, you didn't sign up for this. This is not your fight per se, so to speak. Like, obviously I want you here. But, and I don't know, maybe that was too, like too heavy of a thing for me to say. But I just wanted her to know that, like, that I wasn't hoping that for us. Right? Yeah. And she never wavered. Like, she was so strong the entire time. And like, even if she did get emotional, like it wasn't in front of me almost in a way. Yeah. And so I'm super grateful for her. So you think about like having a focus on what to fight, but also like having a big why. Yeah. And I say to people all the time in our practice, it's like, your big why, like that's the actual goal. Mm-hmm. Like, So, and maybe I'm fast forwarding a little bit here to what I do on a daily thing, but let's say that someone has migraines, right? They wanted to get rid of the migraines. But the big why is that I want to be more present for my kids. I want to not have to leave work all the time because I have a migraine or whatever else it is too. Like,
Or take medication.
the migraine is the focus point maybe, but the big why is that like they want their life back again. And so for me, my big why was and I told this to her again. This is too heavy for a 22, 23-year-old, but I was like, hey, my goal is to be cancer free at our wedding. Like at the altar at our wedding, I want to be cancer free. I had no idea how or what or when, but like I wanted that. That was something that I set, right? So setting a goal, whether in anything in life, I think is really important. Totally. So I had a focus and I had a distinct goal.
Yeah.
With that too, and we went on this journey together, right? And like this healing journey for my body, and just like understanding like really what we can do to help your body begin to heal, right?
Yeah. What are some things you did to initially start that then?
Yeah. So, and to jump around a little bit here, but we were actually living in Charleston, South Carolina when I got diagnosed. She was so solid, like so rock solid through all of that. Her and her mom went back to Charleston and now we were fresh out of college. So we didn't have actual things.
Right.
They got like,
you had your plastic drawers.
Yeah. Like we had a little like futon from, I think it was either Walmart or like Target.
Yeah.
And it's like,
I
when you like move it all the way back. So they like basically like packed up clothes, but they drove down to Charleston, got all of our things, and then drove back. And we actually moved into my brother and sister-in-law's basement.
Oh, wow.
And he's this incredible doctor in himself too, and just really helped me a lot with like the actual healing process of it, right? Yeah. And so we moved in their basement, and I was eating really specific throughout each day. I was doing like green juices a lot and stuff like that, and just trying to help my body like get more nutrients, get more vitamins. Right. And so we lived in their basement, and they had an infrared sauna in their basement.
Oh, nice.
And so I was in there. Unless we were gone, which was pretty rare, but I was in there literally every single day for an hour, like just constantly sweating out
the toxins,
everything,
stuff,
right?
Yeah.
And I had to work my way up to that.
Yeah.
I definitely was pretty weak initially, but I worked my way up to that. But I was in that sauna every single day. I was one that always enjoyed a workout. I enjoyed like high intensity workouts, and getting back into that was just like more movement at the start, right?
Totally.
And then build my way back up. But yeah, I mean, for me, it was really focusing in on, again, maybe it's cheesy, but like my mindset, like we had a gratitude journal. I never had that before, but that's something my wife bought for us. She's like, hey, we're gonna pray, and we're going to be grateful every single day for like what we're experiencing, you know? And I think one thing that time allowed me was to realize like how simple life can be if you allow it to be. And so we were so focused. I think about that. Like I look back, like we were in our early 20s and we were just so focused on healing.
Yeah.
And
most 20-year-olds are like, what bar are we going to tonight? You're like, I need to get my infrared sauna.
right. Oh no, time out. I gotta get in the
gratitude.
So no, we were just really focused on diet and nutrition along with the treatment that I was doing.
Yeah.
But it's really helping my body, like trying to heal from inside out, along with that whole process too, right? And so I believe the mindset was such a powerful part of that. And I went out and saw a specialist on the West Coast. And I think back to like, I probably looked ridiculous because I had like tubes coming out of my neck and a tube in my arm and all that stuff. Yeah. But what we would do is we went and sat by the lake after going and seeing, treatments and stuff like that. And we would just pray and be thankful. And I remember like the mentality shift to be thankful for where you're at. And to be thankful for like that journey versus being afraid and scared and frustrated and angry, right? Because it's so easy to be angry at that.
Yeah. And your body can react to that too in ways where like if I'm anxious, like I'm tense, and my shoulders are up, and body doesn't like tense. It likes to be relaxed. So that those thoughts that you have play a role in how your body is feeling too. Yeah.
No, and I think we talk so often about like, I talk about stress a lot in daily practice now, but it's like we are in a world of stress right now. Yeah. And we have been for, whoever else, but we, with the screens and the everything that's happening right now, we're constantly bombarded by information and stress too. Yeah. And I think back, like, I remember writing in the journal one day, and again, I'm not good at journaling, and that's a big thing I need to work on, but I remember writing like, I'm grateful for being diagnosed. I'm grateful for where we are. I know that life's going to get better. And I think back to that, like I have those words like ingrained. It's like a little like corner of the sheet of paper, but it was like a prompt, like, what are you grateful for today? And like write 3 things. And I was like, I think back now how simple that was to be able to allow myself to focus on that.
Yeah.
Just slow down a little bit. And
Yeah, totally.
And all
Yeah,
the
because I
things-
think,
yeah.
like I said earlier, like I'm impatient with goals, and also like a really big, as we talk about like the how and the why and everything, like I always had this big perfectionist mentality in my
Yeah.
life. Look a certain way as far as like my workouts and all that stuff. I had to have a 4.0, this, that, the other. Like I always was chasing that perfectionist mentality, and
Yeah.
I never allowed myself to be present. And I think one of the biggest like compliments I can give my wife is that she's the most present person I've ever met.
Yeah.
Like she just,
She grounds you.
yeah, she totally. And like when people talk about like opposites, like we're kind of the opposite in that way, that I'm always like pushing and going, and she's so present with every day too.
Oh, I
And so
love
like
that.
I remember like, you know, we were engaged and we were doing all these things, just trying to like get my body to heal, and just how like she just took that. And again, she might have gotten emotional like with her mom or with her sisters and all that stuff. Like in front of me, like she was always just like, she was always ready to go. And really helped me with that too. So.
What a strong woman to
Yeah.
be able to
I
do
love
that and
those.
be there for. Yeah. Okay, keep going. I'm ready for more.
Yeah. So that was like in September and all of that, we went out and saw a specialist, and treatments were going well, and I was really starting to heal. Like my vision was coming back. I was putting weight back on. I had lost probably like 30 or 40 pounds.
Yeah.
So my weight was coming back, and I was moving and feeling better overall. And then, wedding's getting closer, right?
Yeah.
And it was in January, and my oncologist calls, and so with leukemia it's a little bit different. Like you're not always chasing like the tumor regression, so to speak.
Okay.
But he said, "Hey, Drew, great news! You're in hematological remission." And I didn't know like when or how we would actually ever hit that point, right?
Yeah.
And so what that meant was like, so in a healthy individual, we have between 5 and 15,000 white blood cells.
Okay.
That they're kind of our body's defense mechanism. Well, instead of 5 to 15,000, mine was over 600,000.
Oh, wow.
And instead of protecting me, they were ravaging every other healthy cell in my body. And so you think about like, they were clogging up my bloodstream in a way to where it was affecting my vision.
Yep.
So it wasn't getting the proper nutrition to my
Yeah.
eyes, right? So it wasn't that there were necessarily tumors on the back of my eyes or on my optic nerve, but it was rather that I just wasn't getting the proper blood flow, right? And so he calls, and so I went from 600,000 to under 15,000 in that time frame.
Wow.
And
And how many months was that?
So I was diagnosed in June, and then we talked in January. I mean, we had talked the whole way
Yeah,
along,
yeah,
so
yeah.
I knew it was trending the
Going
right
down,
way.
but
But
in
it was
6 months.
that was
Wow.
2 weeks before our wedding,
That.
and so I just think back on like that time frame. Like again, this probably sounds bad to say it this way, but I'm very grateful for like that trajectory of where life is, because it helped me slow down and it made me appreciate life. And so we were at our wedding, and we had a big wedding. My wife she's one of 5 daughters, but she has like 80 some odd first cousins. And so there was like,
5 girls.
yeah.
God bless those parents.
Oh man, yeah, and they're all awesome. But so there's like nearly 500 people at our wedding,
Yeah.
and most of them from her side. And then, you know how like at the end and all the groom, like the best man will say a speech, and you know, father of the bride and stuff like that. They handed me the mic, which is funny now, and I won't do it today, but I like grabbed it and I just started sobbing,
Oh.
because it was just like a lot of people there knew that I had gotten well, but we hadn't really talked so much about like getting into remission like that
Yeah.
too, you know.
It probably all that's the moment that you guys set a goal for when this thing first happened to you, and you're like, I'm here and I'm
Right.
cancer free.
You know, my parents were there, her parents were there, all of her sisters, our brothers-in-law, all our nieces and nephews. And so they were just all along for that journey.
Oh.
And I just remember, and like, it was this really beautiful venue in her hometown. I remember looking around, and I just was like, I couldn't even mutter a word. And I just started crying, and I was just like, thank you.
Yeah.
And I gave the mic back to my father-in-law, and he like wrapped it up way more eloquently than I did. I remember when I just went back and sat, and we had our first dance then after that, and I just was like, this is all how it was supposed to play out. I didn't know in the moment. I was impatient, and I was trying to push things along, but like, that was one of the times where like everything just stopped, and I was just super present.
Yeah.
With, you know, we just gotten married, and my wife's name is Kelsey, so I looked at her and I was like, man, like this is pretty special, you know.
What a cool moment. Oh my, I can't even imagine, especially after everything you've been through up until that point, to get to that point, and just to have that moment for you too, even because as you said, she was such a big part of your journey in healing your body.
It was kind of like that graduation from that time in our life, you know, graduate from high school, college, whatever else it is. But we kind of, it was the nice bookend to that time of our life of, to be honest, a lot of fear, but also a lot of joy too, like seeing how capable my body was of healing. And so that was pretty special.
It puts that faith into, like, if my body can do it, I can do this for other people as well.
Which is that literally parlays right into what I do now. You know,
let's do it.
No, so it's just like I had a science background and all of that, and I love my oncologists. Like they have all been phenomenal. But I remember talking to someone, and it's like, what if I can help people live healthier lives versus like bottom of the ninth, 2 outs?
Yeah. Totally.
Again, the biggest compliment to my oncologist, like they literally saved me, right? Or whatever, maybe save or whatever, but like they really, really helped me. But I truly believe with what I get to do now, and like when we talk about like holistic wellness, it's helping people live healthier lives. And I tell people all the time, like, be healthier than I was.
Yeah.
Be healthier than, whatever else it is too. So like going to chiropractic school allowed me that opportunity to help with like your body's natural ability to heal. And just getting your body in more of a restful state, more of a healing state,
Because you always see sometimes chiropractic and holistic health, sometimes they can butt heads and it's like they don't always coincide. So how do you have them coincide with each other in your practice?
Totally. I truly believe that each person, each family member, or whatever else it is different. And they should be treated as such. So we always meet with people like, what are your actual goals for your health? And how can we help you get to that point versus, well, we just do the same thing, redundancy for each patient or each person, right? And in our office, we call it a 5 essentials approach because I love chiropractic. I love being a chiropractor, obviously, and I'm really passionate about how chiropractic is tied to nervous system function more than just pain. But also, too, we call it our 5 essentials as far as exercise, nutrition, mentality, we talked about earlier, too, and lessening, like, our exposure to a toxic lifestyle. And when I say that, that's not like, oh, like, that's toxic, don't eat that. It's more just like, how do we eat cleaner foods, but also, like, how do we drink cleaner water? Or, like, how do we expose ourselves to those type of things, too,
Yeah, it's the simple things that you don't even think of.
Right.
Like, I'm going to grab this bag of chips, but it's like, maybe I should have a carrot.
Right. And we actually have a thing on that. That's actually really good. We have a thing on that where we call it a guide to making lateral changes. Like, you don't have to, like, stop enjoying life.
Totally.
That's not what this is about. As a reformed perfectionist. It's not about trying to be perfect, but it's truly about like how can you enjoy life, but also have these foundational principles to help your body heal overall too. So there's there can be some butting heads sometimes, like, I'm like, we do it the best, or we do it the best as far as this goes. Like, I just believe that, like, you bring everything together for someone, they do really well. And as you say that, like the bag of chips or whatever, it's like, if I'm doing my job and they're making really good progress with their spine, with chiropractic care, with their nervous system, but they're still driving through fast food every night, or they're still not sleeping, or they, rely on 17 energy drinks to get through the day. Like, I don't know if I'm doing my job holistically at that level, as an actual, like, provider. Versus, like, oh, I stay in this one lane too. Does that make sense?
Well, it's even too, people have each have their own idea and their whole health life. Like, everyone's version of health can be different too, and we're all on different journeys. Like, I could be here right now and I might have the bag of chips rather than the carrots, but who's to say someday I might change that habit.
And it's like a big thing of our office is meeting people where they're at. And not forcing them to do something that they're not prepared for, or whatever else it is too, and really, like, saying, like, how can we best serve you? Again, it's like, I hope that people, when you go to someone, like, go to a provider, like, they ask you what your goals are. And it's a very good goal might be getting out of pain. That's a great goal to have. But there's also, like, what's your goal, like, in 5 years? What's your goal in 10 years? And I say all the time, what we do in our 20s, 30s, and 40s sets us up for 50 and beyond. If we take care of ourselves, we're going to reap the benefits later, versus getting to retirement and not being able to enjoy
retirement.
Because it's like, I'm in so much pain, or I don't feel well.
energy.
Yeah,
all
right.
that
Like,
stuff.
But I think holistic health almost scares people in the beginning where they think it'd be a complete lifestyle change. So it's like those small things teaching people, let's start here.
Totally.
And then the next step is this. And it's kind of like a snowball effect, but it's
Yeah.
not this huge
did you guys listen
complete
to?
life making.
No, it's funny because I talk about the snowball effect all the time,
Oh.
and it's that accumulation factor.
Yeah.
And it's not. We don't make like the avalanche doesn't happen in 1 week,
Right.
nor should it.
Yeah.
Like there's that accumulative effect over time that you look back in 2 years and you're like, boy, I remember when I first met Drew, Dr. Drew, call me Drew. When I first met Drew, and I was just like, I was dealing with this, right? Now I'm in a whole different way of life or approach of that from what I've done. So like I say that all the time. I don't want you to feel like you have to be perfect to be here. I don't want that, honestly. I want you to be real. I want you to like tell me like how we can actually help you with that. And it's that snowball effect. And I say that time and time again. And I probably sound redundant to people, but it's like, it's those habits.
You got to
It's that-
identify like how much they're willing to change at that moment too. So it's things that they can handle at that time. Maybe
not
it's like
overwhelming.
really small. Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And again, if you come in, right, and say you have really acute low back pain, but I'm like, hey, have you tried eating a salad instead of that? It's like, wait, what?
I'm not here for nutrition advice.
Right, right. So each person is so different.
Yeah.
And I really believe they should be treated as such versus just like always trying to do the same thing
Yeah.
for each person too.
So how do you approach, you were talking about how you like to look at it as a preventative factor too, like don't get to as bad as I was. So how do you approach those younger people to make them aware of what you're doing now is going to affect you in your future and like the choices you're making now is going to affect your health?
I say this all the time. Health can be complicated yet very simple at the same time. And I think oftentimes we intuitively know like I probably could be doing this, but also life gets in the way and we get
Put it on the back burner.
Yeah,
and
yeah,
wait
yeah.
till next year or next
right.
month.
And I say typically like if we can do things now to take care of ourselves, it's going to be easier down the road.
Yeah.
Versus coming into an office like ours and it's like, I've been dealing with this neck pain for 15 years, or I've been dealing with these headaches for 20 years. Like that takes time to heal.
Yeah.
So another chiropractor said, I thought this is pretty good. He's like, our bodies aren't Amazon Prime. Yeah. We so badly want it to be,
Yeah.
but like we can't, it takes time.
I think that's just society now. They want that quick fix. Even my mom's like, do you have a cream to help me with my wrinkle? I'm like, no, Mom. Like, there's no overnight cream to
Right.
get rid of your neck wrinkle.
People can market to that, but in
Yeah.
reality, you and I both know that, like, and I say that all the time, like in chiropractic or in just our body in general, like all healing takes time. Mm-hmm. And so I have people that will come in like, yeah, like, I went somewhere, but like, I just didn't get any better. And so I'll ask them back, like, and I'm not trying to be confrontational, but it's like, well, how long did you go in for? It's like, oh, well, one adjustment. And it's just like, well,
There's your problem.
right. Or it's like that, and I say that's to me. That's like me driving over to the gym and doing 1,000 crunches.
Totally.
A month later, am I reaping the benefits of that?
Yeah.
It's that cumulative effect. It's the consistency effect that I actually pay off over the long haul, right?
Yeah.
Some of the best gyms, and I'm a firm believer in going out, and whether people like to do yoga, Pilates, CrossFit, like movement is essential.
Movement's movement, yeah.
But if some of the best things that I see for people when because I don't own a gym, but I believe people should move. But it's when they have like the trainer or the coach. Like I think that's one of the benefits of CrossFit is that people have a set thing with that.
Yeah.
A workout of the day.
Yeah.
But
Shout
they
out
also have that
CrossFit.
longer. What's that?
So shout out CrossFit.
There you go, deal.
CrossFitter.
But I think one of the big things that they've done one with that is that they help people reach their goals over the long haul. If you go and do a CrossFit workout, and it can be overwhelming, especially if you've never worked out before or like not like that. If you go in and you work out and you work really, really hard, and I'm not going to be Arnold Schwarzenegger in a day. It'd be great.
Yeah.
Right? But that's not how the body is designed. Like, it's that consistency effect.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you think about Arnold Schwarzenegger, like, he didn't become Mr. Olympia with, like, a few, like, bench presses every once in a while. Like, that dude worked his tail off for
Right.
years to get to that point. And we see I don't want to say finished product, but the guy on the stage.
Yeah.
But, like, he worked day and night,
To get
years
there.
and years and years
Yep.
to get to that point, too.
Yeah.
So, like, why do we approach overall holistic health any differently as far as, like, it's that consistency effect? And I say all the time, it's like, these are the essentials, these are the foundations for your health.
Yeah.
And I think a really common thing in the holistic, or just health world in general, we call like hacks, right? Like biohacks, like you said, like with the cream. Like, how can I like get rid of all wrinkles forever in one thing, right? It's like if we skip out on the foundational things and go right into like the hacks, that's not as consistent as like, hey, I'm just gonna like, maybe it's boring, but I'm gonna watch my nutrition. I'm gonna move every day. I'm gonna meditate or breathe or whatever. Like those are the foundational things. And then we can upgrade. Right?
People want, it's so simple, and people want the pill or what can I do for this? But it's focus on your nutrition, focus on proper movement that's healing to your body, and you will get there with time and consistency over it.
Totally. And like one thing that I love about like how we approach chiropractic is like, I think in general, and if you don't mind me saying it like this way, but a lot of chiropractors focus on pain. You have pain, get out of pain, see you later. And the research continues to show more and more and more is like the relation to chiropractic and like actually like your nerves and your nervous system, right? Like how can we help your body facilitate healing overall, or just facilitate less stress? And in a time when so many people have like forward head posture, we call it like, it's not a full diagnosis yet, but like text neck.
Right?
I
know that,
Right, and it's like, so you talk about like young people, right? It's like, I think now more than ever, we stress out our spine, nervous system, whatever you want to say, in a whole different way. And I think that we tend to harbor that then in our spine and our nerves then too, and we can't like fully like overcome that as far as, and then I'm just gonna work out harder. I'm gonna work out a little bit, and that's calling myself out too. But it's like, how can we help your body actually get to more of that restful, de-stressing state?
That's why I do a lot of like fascial movement, because it's connected with your nerves and your muscles and your gut and all of that. So I love the lengthening aspect of it too. That's why the chiropractor thing is always interesting to me, because I want to see them like they can connect in a really nice way, I think, but having them work together, the fascial movement with the chiropractic as well.
Totally.
It helps you get back to
like,
that pain-free state.
I always tell people like, I'm not your guru. I'm not your shaman. Like, I'm not like, it's not me. Like in reality, like I want to establish principles for you that you're your own healer. Like I want to be a facilitator. Obviously I want to like help people, but like in reality, it's like, I think that I learned at a young age, I was 22, 23, like I need to be responsible for my own health outcomes. Like people can help, people can coach you along the way too, but like I wanted to be responsible for that. And so I think that when you start to bring all that together for people, they get the wave comes a little bit higher, right? So
those little wins that you have along the way help you get there. So you say you love the research and you can dive into the research. What has been one of the craziest connections that you've seen in your research? Like I know there's a connection between gluten and migraines or something like that. What has been one of those connections you're like, oh, that makes more sense why that symptom's acting up because of this? I totally went 180 right there.
No, it's fine. This is fun. I would say like, because I get to probably see this the most in daily practice. So maybe it's not like as nuanced as other things, but the amount of people that come in and say that they have the normal headaches. Oh, I get the normal headaches. And I try to differentiate the difference between like common and normal, right?
What's the difference?
Well, so I would say that a headache is a warning sign to your body saying, hey, something's off. And it doesn't have to always be it doesn't have to be chiropractic or nervous system. It can be my nutrition's off, I'm deficient in something, I'm really stressed out. I've been through what like XYZ, like it's that manifestation, right? But they're so common that we almost call them normal now. Does that make sense? Did I say that?
You did.
So people will say all the time, oh, I get the normal headaches. And out of respect, I'm like, okay, so can you describe that to me? Like, what is a normal headache to you? It's like, oh yeah, I just have a lot of tension here. Tension here is a very common answer that I get. And so this, it's called chiropractic biophysics, and it's the actual like how to structurally improve people's spines too. They do a lot of research on the correlation between text neck forward head posture, headaches, migraines, and stuff like that. I don't mean to say stuff like that like to belittle it, but like actual nerve function correlated to how do we actually like what is our posture? And I don't mean to be like, not this posture, but like, how much time do we spend here?
Yeah.
Like I think about like, on Sunday when you get that reminder on your phone of how much time you spent on your phone that week, and you're just like, I could have been better with that, right?
I did it again.
And I tell people like, tech, like our advances in tech is awesome. Like we're able to do stuff like this because of technology. I'm not saying technology is bad. It's just that we have to be able to like have a resilience to putting ourselves in this posture all day long, right? Yep. Like I look at our office, like everything is digital. And that's the cool part about like the advancements in technology with that too. But that also means that like I myself can spend however much time looking over X-rays and MRIs and whatever else it is too on the computer and be like, oh, I'm being a little hypocritical right now. I call people out and I'm now hunched over, right? Yeah. So I know, again, you don't have to be perfect about it, but it's like even develop more of that self-awareness. It's crucial too. So I would just say like the correlation to your nerves, I think we're just scratching the surface on it. Yeah. And it's that the gut-brain connection is fascinating to me. I know you said you asked for one. Now I'm kind of getting inundated.
I got you in that rabbit hole.
Yeah. How we can control our breathing and how that affects our heart rate and how that affects our brain, right? Like I'm not like, I don't know. Meditation can be tough for me because it's tough for me to slow down often. But like each time that I do it and like I allow my mind to like fully like declutter, I'm like, oh, what was I stressed out about earlier again?
Right. And that's the thing too. You're not perfect at it, but you keep going back and you keep doing it because you want to improve that part of your life because as you've said, it's all connected and you can't just do one part of it and expect to get results. You have to do the nutrition part and the movement part and the...
And we're not meant to be perfect, right? Like that's not what life is, but it's like, if we just have these foundational things, like we tend to have better outcomes, right? Yeah. And so I think too, just about like the stories that we get to hear in the office are just so fun. Yeah. The testimonials, and I think so often, and this is kind of going back to your question too, is that like each person, each case is different. So that's why research is always changing. Yeah. Like what is research? What is science without like always like adapting and changing and improving, right? But hearing these testimonials, and so often when people come in, like typically one of the most common, like people come in for neck pain, they come in for headaches, come in for low back pain, sciatic, stuff like that. Yeah. But we do check-ins, we do progress exams, and we like have them fill out like papers sometimes. Like, hey, do you remember what you first came in for? And sometimes like they have to think a little bit, and like that's a pretty good sign.
That you're like, why am I here again?
But then they'll like their thing at the bottom will be like, what have you made the most progress with, or like what do you feel like whatever type of questions there might be, right? That. And so often that is not based on the pain they came in with, but with their big why. Yeah. Like, I love that I'm able, and sometimes it's golf. Yeah. Like sometimes I get to go play golf and I don't have pain anymore. Right. I'm able to play golf without feeling like I have to like sit out the rest of the day. But then it's also like the ones where it's like, I was able to like play with my grandkids. Yeah. Without feeling in pain. Yeah. I was able to go on our honeymoon and walk around and before I wouldn't know if I would be able to. Yeah. Like those are really powerful for me and just fun to be a part of.
Stories. So we've talked up your practice long enough now. Will you tell us what it's called, what you guys do, give us all the details of what you guys do.
So our office is in Clive, but it's also like it's Clive / Waukee / Irvindale. Like it's where all of them like come together. But it's called Revival Health Center. The meaning behind revival is like a revival of actually health, right? I think I say like earlier I was saying how there's a difference between like common and normal headaches. I think we want to make healthy be more common. Yeah. Right. And just in a state of health and not perfect health, like things are going to come up, but just in a state of more ease and not always so stressed out. Yeah. So it's called Revival Health Center. We're a chiropractic office. Like I'm a chiropractor, so I'm not gonna like be like shy about that or whatever else it is. But we work a lot with the 5 essentials, like I said. So chiropractic, nutrition, exercise, movement in general, mentality, mindset, and like lowering like what you're exposed to, like your toxicity levels, stuff like that too. So we come in, people meet with us, we go over goals. Oftentimes, again, being a chiropractor and believing in what we get to do, like showing them how it can affect their health overall too.
Yeah.
Because if you have this one little picture of chiropractic only being for pain, you never get to truly experience how powerful that is.
Yeah.
But then also along the way, we go over nutrition. I'm not big on diets.
No.
I believe that like there's a foundational nutrition we all should like have.
Yeah.
And I often think of like diets like deprivation.
Yeah.
Right. Like what do they say? Like nearly 95% of diets don't work.
Fail. Yeah.
I don't think it's not the person's fault. It's not that you don't have enough willpower. It's just that like if we're always chasing that versus like, hey, here's some foundational things for that. Again, I don't own a gym or whatever else it is, but I think we all should be able to move.
Yeah.
And it can be a walk. It can be the most hardcore CrossFit games person, anywhere between that. Like, but we are designed to move more, right? We spend so many people spend so much time seated throughout the day.
Yeah.
So we work a lot with that. And then we also do some, if it calls for it, we do different like testing, like deficiencies.
Okay.
That's
like
what I was
minerals
wondering
and stuff
when you
like
were talking
that.
about toxins and if you do any extra
Yeah.
testing.
So how is that affecting our life too, right? And it could be like either a mineral deficient or vitamin deficient. But yeah, actually like testing like were we exposed to something that we didn't know? And again, it's not people's fault always,
Right.
but it's like how can you like help with that too? So yeah, we do that. We actually do like hormone testing too.
Awesome.
And just to help people like really bring that all together.
Do you have
And
infrared saunas?
not yet. Not yet. I want to. We'll get there. There's a couple guys that I know, and there's bigger cities right now, but I do want to bring that really holistic word mentality to Des Moines. So I know I said earlier I like 5-year goals in 5 months. How many months are we into practice? We haven't quite hit our 5-year goal yet.
Okay.
But no, but I do want to bring stuff like that all together,
Yeah.
all encompassing, and just be that place of like healing. And like one of the things when you walk into our office is we like to keep it very simple. And it's in the lights and how like all the windows and open, like we just want it to feel warm and welcoming. And so that before you even see me, you're in a different mentality versus like lights all up on you, like everything is like
Sterile,
close. Yeah. Like we want you to feel like this is a place where your body can like, we call it a home for your health.
Yeah.
Like your body can actually like start to like work towards being healthier.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean that's what we do, right?
I love it.
No, and so it's just fun for me because like you say like, and then like common question we get like, who do you serve?
Yeah.
We have little kids that come into the office, to adults, to people. What's the proper word? Like senior citizens?
Yeah. We
Sorry.
just had this discussion
We
in a
did.
meeting yesterday because I know Sam's like-
That is not meant to be anything like.
No,
I
well-
love.
I always say we call people old here, and they're like, "We're not old. We're just 40." I'm like, "Well, you're older than me, so to me, you're
Right.
old."
But we
Right.
can't call them adults because then it's like,
I'm
we're
an adult.
adults.
Right. It's like, then what am I?
Exactly.
I don't feel young anymore either. So I'm just like, yeah.
I don't know
so,
what to call them.
Anyway, so we
Those
serve
people.
we serve all different like approaches there too. Athletes, Division I, professional, come in because still like I think back to like. So we do like structural correction in chiropractic, meaning that like as we get back in better alignment, we'll carry our stress better.
Right.
Like we're gonna stress ourselves out. I wish I could put bubble wrap around people and say like, hey, you're never gonna have stress anymore. But like in reality, like we're gonna still have things that come up. But it's how do we become more resilient for it? And the better aligned we are, the better we're gonna be able to take on those waves of stress, right?
Totally.
So
I
we do
love
that.
I never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
And so it's like, if we can get into better alignment, we'll be able to continue to like move well with that. And just see people like do really well with that too. And like just kids within chiropractic is just so fun too. Kids come in and they like give me high fives, like, oh, they're so excited to be here. And like seeing a kid is way different than seeing an adult too.
Yeah.
So I'm a part of ICPA, which is International Chiropractic Pediatric Association, like seeing kids, how to help them hit their goals too.
I love it. Yeah.
Webster technique. So Webster technique is the technique designed to be able to adjust pregnant moms with pregnancy.
Yeah.
There's a lot of growth,
Postural shifts.
a lot of ligaments that are changing
Yeah.
too. So like being certified to be able to like see pregnant moms and have them do like
Get adjusted.
do well through
Yeah.
pregnancy too,
Yeah.
right? So like I don't mean to say like all encompassing, but we really want to be all encompassing for all different walks of life too.
I love that. Where can people find you on socials? What's your website? All that jazz.
So my wife, who I said earlier is way out of my league, she also is like office CEO, office manager, social media savant
all.
for our office. No, we're at Revival Health DSM.
Okay.
both Facebook, Instagram. So give us a follow there. Our website is revivalhealthdsm.com. So we try and keep it all in synergy. And then if you guys do want to reach out, if you're okay with me sharing this,
please
yeah.
do.
And if you just text the word like Bing Bang, is it one word or two?
Bing Bang's 2 words.
So if it autocorrects to 2, it's fine by us. We'll see either way. But text us to 515-895-1400. New patient special for me being on here. Thanks to you guys for having me out.
Too kind.
And just so follow us on social. It's fun. We like to share stories.
Yeah.
We try and have fun with it. I am not comfortable in front of a camera. So like we have like either it's like my wife's phone or like we even like an iPad because our memory was getting short because I needed so many takes to like say things correctly.
I've been there.
Yeah. And my closest friend from growing up, he went to LA for like 10 years and like lived that whole life and was in commercials and all that stuff. And like I laugh now because I'm like, boy, I would not, like he's that friend. Like I would not be the guy that would do well out there. So I'm constantly like working on that too. But yeah, we always try to post and like our goal for social is just to give information, right? How can you, what are things you can be doing today, tomorrow, to just continue to level up your health.
I love that.
So a lot of free access to stuff there.
Yeah.
There's no like you have to sign on to like follow us. Like just follow us and see like how we can help overall too.
Amazing, amazing. Thank you for coming to our office, sharing your story.
Thank you.
It's been amazing to hear and just eye-opening. And like we said, the awareness part is just the start of the beginning of your health journey.
Yeah, and I tell this to people all the time. And if you're cool, like people like you deserve to be healthy. Like you deserve to not be hunkered down by pain, by not feeling well. And I read this on this is actually on social from as an influencer or whatever. I don't know, somebody that I follow. And he's like, don't get to the end of life wishing that you would have been happy or not allowing yourself to be happy. And I think that so often when we don't have our health, it's tough to be happy.
Yeah.
And so that synergy there, and just to see people, I see people change and their demeanor change all the time because pain bogs us down. Not being healthy bogs us down. And the healthier that we are, I truly believe like the happier we can be too. And so I just like, for me, for somebody who's diagnosed with leukemia at 22 and then it came back at 29, how old am I?
Old.
I'm old.
She would call us old.
I'm a senior citizen now.
Yeah.
But just as someone who's like been diagnosed with cancer twice in my life, been there in that hospital bed, it's like, do things that allow yourself to be happy and to be healthy. Because like, and I know that people say it a lot, but like life is really short. And it can seem like that sometimes, but like allowing yourself to be happy is integral for overall success too, right? Like that's what it comes down to.
Totally.
We want our kids to be happy. We want our family to be happy. So yeah, I don't want people's health to get in the way of that.
I love that. Thank you for leaving us on a high note. Aaron, thank you for bringing Dr. Drew on.
Yes, you're
He's
awesome.
been-
You can
I
call me Drew.
appreciate
You can call me Drew.
Dr. Drew.
I'm calling you Dr. Drew from now on.
I love that.
Okay.
Thank you guys.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.